Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zombies Love Bacon podcast, episode number 18. That is 18 weeks of absolute nonsense being recorded in podcast format and then uploaded to the internet for you wonderful people to listen to. I am joined this week by Shelby.
Hi, I'm back.
And also back is Norstar.
Australia, I just have one question. We beat the world twice. Why couldn't you beat some emus?
That's a
Because you
long
can't fucking pronounce
story.
emu properly.
And also, we
fuck
resurrected
me.
the amphibian himself, Frog.
Hello.
He's
Hello,
been gone. Some would say
I've
he's
died.
been serving time.
And do you want to know the full reason why I've been serving time? You guys here, you people that make this podcast.
What do you
This is
mean,
the
you
reason.
people?
What do you mean, you people?
We just had this talk.
Oh jeez.
I was talking more to the fact that you didn't actually go to prison, but you basically had to go to prison in the sense that you had to work more to pay your fines off. So.
Yep.
Wait, hang on, hold on.
But then it
hold
was
on.
all for nothing. So I found
What-
a bank
what-
account.
What? Hang on, what?
I found a bank account.
Frog's a
that-
hardened criminal.
How do you find bank accounts? Let me know. I want to find a bank account.
We've missed a few chapters here. First off, what did you get fined for?
Okay, so I drive to work, right? Drive about 40 minutes. I put my headphones in, and normally, I just listen to music in the car ride, and then when I get to work, that's when I listen to podcasts. But I thought I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to and I hadn't listened to any of these podcasts in a long time. right?
Wow.
So I was trying to catch up on them, right? That day I was planning on smashing through them all. Put my headphones on, driving, and then all of a sudden, like I think it was mid-conversation about Pratt's being an athlete or something, and then all of a sudden, red lights behind me. Oh shit! Pulled over. Turns out Vic Roads doesn't send you emails regarding your registration or if the pay is bounced, because I know I definitely was paying it at the start of the year, but they never notified me that my car was unregistered. So I've been driving around for 6 months since the start of this year with an unregistered car.
Criminal.
Criminal, right?
Yep. You're the
I
worst.
look back. I literally looked back through my emails with the cop, and I was like, "Look, this is everything that Vic Roads has sent me. This is the notification that I had to pay my rego. Bam, nothing since that. It was opened, and then nothing since that. Not even a message to tell me that it had been cancelled, which is ridiculous. And he thought it was ridiculous as well. But because he pulled me over and made the arrest, he had to kind of like just go through with it. So he had to hand me a fine. Boom, straight on the spot. I had to pay $50 to drive my car to work on a temporary permit because they took my plates. And then I had to go get it roadworthied over the last 2 weeks, as well as I can't drive it till the 20th because that's when my fucking registration appointment is. So they got to inspect it and then give me new plates to put on there.
I have
So-
a question.
Yes.
So they sent you an email saying you had to pay it, right?
About 3 months out from when it was due, right?
Uh-huh. And did you pay it?
Yes. It was in the, I know exactly when it was. It was in the period between my jobs. So I had to make sure there was money in my account. And I made sure there was money in my account. I have a feeling that something like fucking like a subscription or something had taken money out of my account before it had been fully processed and it bounced. And that's my theory as to what happened. But in saying that, you know, if the pay didn't go through on the spot, you know, send another email saying, "Hey, look, your pay didn't go through. You still got time." You know,
You
send
assume there's
some-
actual people that think about this when really it's just machines.
Mm.
Anyway.
You know all about that, huh?
And then, the cop was saying that apparently it's a 50-50 when they pull someone over these days, whether or not it's going to be someone new about their rego or someone that's like had priors before that have like just clearly just doesn't pay their regos ever. It's like a 50-50. Because of COVID, they slipped a bunch of like little like laws and stuff, so that basically deep down in the TLC, fucking terms and conditions, yeah. TLC, tender loving care, deep down there. In the terms and conditions, there's like things that like they're only illegally allowed to send you one email They don't send you anything else now. So I'm apparently not the only person that's had this happen to them. I've never missed a bill in my life, and it's just fucking annoying. So I've just been working my ass off to try to pay back everything and get my car back on the road.
It's serving time.
And serving time, yeah. So, yeah.
You missed at least one payment.
Yeah, clearly, but like you don't understand. This makes me angry because like I am not that guy that misses fucking payments.
Yeah.
I'm the independent person in my family, and I do all that shit.
So how does it feel to be a criminal?
And then now I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
It's
It's I remember it is like I'm not exactly proud of my actions or anything like that, but I am a good driver. I don't know about lawful at all times, but I am a good driver.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing a work trip, and I was driving up the Hume, and if people don't know what the Hume is, it's the main road that connects Melbourne to Sydney, so it's a pretty decent road, but it's the most boringest drive ever. It's just a huge freeway with nothing on it at all. And anyway, I went up, stopped at this town, did my work, caught up with a few friends and whatever. And then I got in the car, and I'm just having a good old time, just vibing, and just driving along, got the music pumping, and then I see these lights in the back of it, like behind me. And I'm like, oh, surely not for me. And then I looked down at my Speedo, and I was doing 220. I'm like, oh yeah, they're for me.
That's a fucking.
But the road was just like so perfect and straight. And I was just the car, like it was my car. I was fairly new at the time. I was just vibing. It was like I felt like I was doing 40. And not only that, it was like if you've seen Super Troopers, he was straight out of Super Troopers. I'm talking. He had a hat, he had the fucking mo, and he had the aviators. And he's just like, "You guys, do you know how fast you were going?" I said, "Honestly, I had no idea." But it was like, yeah, that was a serious fine, and a lot of my points gone. And then they took my license off me for a few months. And they're just like, but mind you, they go, all right, here's your license back. In a month's time, we're going to take your license off you. I'm like, okay. See you later. Yeah. This is the way it works, apparently. So that was fine. I barely drive normally because I live so close to everything that I need. But I was just like, oh, well, I'm busted.
The other annoying part about the whole thing is because they took my plates, I had to go get a roadworthy, which meant having to pass a mechanics check, right? Yeah. And so I took it to a mate of mine's, like, he buys a bunch of cars, right? And like off markets where it's like imports and shit from
yeah.
They're basically stolen cars, but they're being you can buy them.
They get auctioned off.
Yeah, the auction ones, yeah. So he buys and then he flips them and then all that shit. So he goes to a pretty sketchy mech for it, right, to get the roadworthies.
Yeah.
And so I went there, 1,100 after being quoted 400 for the thing. And he's just like, look, I tried to take everything off but your car. I've not seen an Astra this beat up in a long time. And I was just like, I knew that my car was going to cost a lot when I went in there, but like I just needed it done to get money to buy another car, which is it's so. I'm in the process of saving for a new car because I knew this one. I've been purposely avoiding getting it serviced because for this exact reason. It's like duct tape and glue that holds mine together right now.
Yeah,
but yeah,
there's a point in every car's life where you look at it and you go, "Am I going to sell you for what you're worth, or am I going to run you into the ground and turn you into scrap metal?"
And I'm in the running into the ground phase.
And I hate fucking cars and shit. I've got an uncle who does the same thing, and actually I had a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna buy cars and flip them, blah blah blah. He's like, my uncle will give me roadworthies for cheap. I'm like, that roadworthies usually means that they look over the car if there's serious issues, they fix them, and then once they're all fixed and they're good to go onto the road, it's like, nah, it's fine. And I remember he got a car. Took it to his uncle, who like basically drove it around the block and goes, "Yeah, roadworthy, mate. No worries. Slap a sticker on it. Way you go." And then that car like broke down like immediately and was like irreparable, and he just lost all this money. I'm like, I mean, he tried to game the system, but it didn't really work.
Well, this guy. So the way it worked was I drove my boss, who's the dad of my mate. He drove me in his beat up fucking like 4x4, which he's trying to get roadworthy. It doesn't have a key.
Yeah.
It's literally a screwdriver in the thing to start it, and that's how you start the car. He drove us to there in that. I pick up my car and then I drove us back home. But like it was just the way that I was there whilst he was talking about like that 4x4, and it was like sketch as fuck the way how easily he was going to get that fucking thing. It's like, yeah, if we just put a bit of paint on here, that'll look like it's fine. If we
a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
But have you seen the show Bush Mechanics? Have you ever heard or seen of Bush Mechanics? Has anyone heard or seen of Bush Mechanics? Surely? No?
I have not.
So it's a very Australian show, but basically it's like Bush, obviously Big Bush out. And it's a lot of the cast and stuff, indigenous, and they're just MacGyver shit, right? So they'll be driving around in the bush, whatever, and then like the car blows up, and they go open it up. It's like, oh, fuel pump's gone, blah blah blah. So then they go, that's fine, and then they just like get a bit of garden hose and hook it up to the fuel tank, and then they put it through this little handheld pump thing, and then back into the engine, and then they get the guy in the passenger seat to pump the fuel manually so they can keep the car going, just so they can just keep driving. And it's all these. Like, there's one where they break the axle in their car, so then they build these skis out of logs and put them on the front of the car, and it just skis through the sand. So they're literally, they just they just got whatever they can get to make the car run, and they just build their cars back together and keep running. They just run them into the ground. It's the most hilarious show. It'll be 10, 15 years old now. And it's just hilarious because they're roasting each other while they're doing it. And they're just like, yeah, mate, no, bro, don't worry about it. It's just fucking, just do it this way. It'll work. No worries. Don't worry. It's a fucking great. I'll find some clips. I'll put them in
Billy Bob and Jethro shit.
It is basically, yeah. It's just the Australian version.
That's great, actually.
It's fucking hilarious. Some of the shit they do to make these cars work again. It's like, how? You know, like, it's just, yeah, it's incredible. But every time, like, because every time that people are like, oh, you know, my car broke down and I can't drive it anymore. And I'm like, well, that's only because you're not thinking outside the box, right? These things can go as long as you know what to do. And like when I was growing up, it was almost like a rite of passage for my family and extended family is you buy a beat up car and then you beat it up and learn how to fix it and just keep it running. And like we call them bush bashers because you literally just drive this car through the bush and almost kill yourself.
And they get holes in them and all.
It had no floor, so if you missed the pedal, your foot would go through underneath the car and just risk breaking your freaking legs on the floor. I rolled it, I flipped it. Yeah. It had fucking rust holes through it. It used to leak oil and you'd run it dry. So like they ran out of fuel, so then you couldn't get it started unless you poured fuel straight into the carbine. A couple of times we did that. It just blew up the engine, burst into flames, and you'd just learn how to pull it apart and build it again. And then that way you knew the basics of a car. So then if you ever were out in the fucking middle of nowhere, you could bush mechanics your way back into town, you know? But now, like you look at a car, you open up the bonnet, you just see all these plastic guards covering all this other shit, and then if you change one thing, then the car computer doesn't work properly and things break. So it's just not like what it used to be. But certainly, I had an old Ute, and we had a motorbike track, and I used to just drive it around in this motorbike track, which means you used to have little jumps and shit on it as well. But that's fine. You just sort of send it. Anyway, I'm not sure why I'm alive still. We definitely
Another
had
episode
some.
of Why I'm Alive, featuring Ilati.
My cousins, they had like it's like a hatch car, but it had nothing inside it. So you picture that you stripped everything out of the car, so chairs, everything, had nothing inside it, but it still runs. So then the way that they used to drive it around was they just put a bucket upside down, and you just sit on this bucket inside the car and go drive around.
God.
But if you went around a corner too harsh, the bucket would start sliding. Anyway, it's we ended up crashing it somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So we didn't want anyone to steal it, so we just took the battery out of it and walked home. And then we came back and tried to fix it.
Didn't want anyone to steal it. That doesn't sound like something someone would.
Well, if you find it out in the middle of nowhere, it's like, well, no one's going to see me take this car, so I'll take it.
But just you take away the bucket and then.
Hey, there you go. Shelby's figured it out.
It's like the
Anyway,
equivalent of putting one of those like lock bars in the wheel instead. You just take the bucket.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, just take away the wheel.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that the tires got so flat and just like we got a bog, so you let the air out of the tires so that you can try and get some better grip and get it so it's not stuck in the dirt anymore. And then once we hit the road, the rubber just disintegrated, and then we're just driving on rims.
We used
Anyway.
to have one. We used to have a bomb that we used to fucking drive around my mate's paddock, where we would basically try to. Yeah, paddock bomb.
Paddock
That
bomb.
was the other name. Paddock bomb.
Not a pipe bomb.
And that's a good segue. But anyway,
What do you mean?
Speaking of pipe bombs,
Yeah.
Shelby, what were you doing recently?
I've been at a home, okay? Whole time. I don't have the time, nor the
Work.
money, nor the energy to leave this house and go plant pipe bombs, okay?
That's a
yeah, that
very
sounds like someone.
random
That
thing.
sounds like someone who would plant pipe bombs would say. Yeah.
I feel like people needed some sort of context, but there were pipe bombs scattered around Melbourne that were being blown up in apparently affluential neighborhoods. And one of them was in a washing machine on the back of a ute. And I think there was 3 in total that went off in one night. Everyone's fine. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah, when you say pipe bombs, little bombs that like hoodlums have made and causing trouble.
Yeah.
It's
We
not.
just
It's not
did
like a couple
the-
buildings got blown up.
It wasn't like full-blown terrorism. It was like little terrorism.
Low
We-
key terrorism.
We did the process of elimination, and
Do you
none
guys
of
want,
that happened until after Shelby moved.
you guys want to hear? I want you hear a story that just it starts off so weird and then it finishes very weird as well,
Does
right?
it finish with pipe bombs?
Basically, but so
Okay, cool.
basically,
When does it start?
well, it starts on the toilet. So
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Like
boy,
any good
alright.
story.
Yeah, that's where I get my best thinking done.
So it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was sitting on the toilet, and then I just
on a toilet.
and I heard this noise, and it sounded like something going, like it sounded like this pop sound, like an explosion or something, but like someone had blown something up in their house, right? And then I hear this like yelling and screaming and stuff like that, and then I hear this car speed off, and I'm like, God, I think the neighbors like must have like thrown a bottle at each other or something like that. Is what my thought was, right? Anyway, laying back down, trying to get back to sleep, fall asleep, wake up, and it's like a fucking disco in the house. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I look out the window, and there is cops running down the street in like riot gear and cop cars, and fucking this fire truck is pulling up to my house, mind you. And they're getting this ladders and shit out, and they're putting them up on my house. And I'm like, is this house on fire? Is that what's happening? So then I run downstairs and I open up the door and I said, mate, is this house on fire? And he's like, no, the house behind your house is on fire, but we can't get to it. And then like I went like when I look out, like I go around to the side of the building and have a look at this house behind us. It is like completely burst into flames and stuff like that. And I'm like, holy shit. And they're like, it's fine, it won't spread, we got it under control, da da da. And then this guy comes up to me, he's like, that, did you hear the the fire go off or anything like that? And I said, no, I didn't hear anything. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, we might have some questions for people later.
Money.
And so anyway, long story short, it sort of starts to come out like in the news and stuff like that apparently it's like the ex-boyfriend or whatever like got into a fight with this woman. They were out somewhere, like having dinner or whatever. So then he just got in the car, went back to her house and lit the fucking thing on fire, took his shit and left. And and then like the thing was that then she turned up with a gunshot wound the next day, and then the whole thing just escalated.
Jesus.
So it turned out that this guy had shot her and then gone back and tried to make it look like the place had like burnt down and stuff like that, and like it was a whole accident or whatever. But then she wasn't dead. So there's this whole manhunt for this guy, and he like tried to leave the state and everything. It's fucking wild. And that house, and like it was an apartment building, all the apartments in that building just burnt to the ground. It was just completely gone. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So by then it was like 6 o'clock or something like that. So I've gotten ready for work and everything. I walk out the front of my house, and the fucking like all the breakfast TV shows are like reporting live from the front of my house. like asking people if they saw anything or what was going on. And they're updating on the manhunt. And I'm just like, what is even going on? But the thing that got me, but the whole situation, I'm right there, and I heard the shit go down and everything. But everyone I talked to were like, don't worry about it, mate. She's under control. No worries. It's fine. Don't worry about it, mate. It's like, there's a lot of things going on here. Someone should be worried about this.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question. So when you walked out in the morning, right? All the TV shows are there.
Yeah.
They're hosting there. Koshi's there probably.
No, it wasn't Koshi. It was the brunette. What's her buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all there, you know, right?
Yeah.
Did anyone see you walk out and just be like, holy fuck, that's the guy that caused the split on the block? And then they're just like, he must be related. He can't be in two places at once.
He gave them the wrong paint roll.
And he probably blew up that house.
Figures, right? You know?
Has anyone seen the guy? I know, I'm sure Frog has, but the guy that's on YouTube, he calls himself Super Wog. He does all that. Yeah, he did a block one yesterday. That's fucking killed me.
Oh, I
we were
watch
watching
that.
it. It was the funniest.
They're like they had this like they had two couples, and one of them was obviously Super Wog and his mate, and they had one couple that are crying about a couch they couldn't get for $2,000. And meanwhile, the Super Wogs hired their cousin or something for $10 an hour, and they're just like, "It's fine, it's fine. Technically, he's an animal, and he's looked after by the RSPCA." I'm like, oh my god, it's so much like The Block, but yeah, it's
what's happening.
no. I'm on a TV show called The Block. It's a whole thing.
What?
Don't worry about
I can send you links.
Yes, please do.
He caused major tension between two of the family members, families.
So basically, for
just
context, all right, for context, the way the show works, and it's like an episode, season 10 or something now, is they buy like rundown renovators' dream houses, right? Usually like 4 in a row, and then they have 4 couples that'll renovate a room each week and do all these challenges and stuff like that until eventually they sell them at auction, and whichever sells for the most wins the show and gets an extra, I don't know how much money. And
because they all get the money from the house.
And you were on the show.
Yeah, well, they needed to buy hardware, so somehow through fucking planets aligning,
Okay.
my hardware store became the supplier, and then it was literally, if you could picture a room of staff members, and then these people walk in, it's like, we need someone to be on the camera, and then you turn around and I was the only one in the room all of a sudden. I'm like, I guess it's me.
And they're micing him up. So
Next thing, so I was on television as like the liaison for their hardware for a lot of challenges
he was
and
the
stuff.
villain.
He was also a villain.
And then I got framed by the producers that don't want to get the truth get in the way of a good story. So they blamed me for giving them the wrong stuff. And I know we've talked about this on the podcast already, so I don't want to go too deep in it. But basically, I gave them the wrong shit, and then they're like, "Well, one contestant came in to get stuff for all the contestants, and then just through the series of questions, they ended up getting the right stuff, and everybody else got the wrong stuff. So all the other people thought it was a sabotage and won't talk to each other anymore. But then in the end, the show basically said, "No, it's Adam from the hardware store who fucked this up." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool."
So
But I made it in like
icon.
I made it in like the fucking like your TV Week magazine and stuff like that. They're talking about me blaming it. It's so bullshit.
So we've talked about it on the podcast before, and I went back and I found footage and screenshots. So definitely got links I can send you. But we should.
I need this.
It's
God.
good.
Yeah. Anyway, pipe bombs.
So we talked about the pipe bombs. It was just a joke because
I'm curious about your Beauty and the Geek topic.
yeah. So
are you referencing the show?
The TV
That's just
show.
our living situation now.
Okay.
I'm the beauty, obviously.
Well, it kind of, yeah. No. This is okay. So everyone here is familiar with what Beauty and the Geek is as a TV show, yeah. It's been around 10 years.
Geeks, bunch of hot women that don't know anything.
Right. So Norstar's right. Okay. So this is the thing, right? So there's geeks. When they say geek, they usually get and so to put in context, there's a Beauty and the Geek Australia show that's starting, which I don't watch TV, so I didn't even know about it. But I had to like drive places yesterday, so I had the radio one, and they were talking about it on the radio. I'm like, this shit's still going on. Anyway, they literally advertise it as they're like, can the geeks land themselves a hottie? And then it cuts to this, I still live in my mum's basement, and like, yeah, I've never seen a woman before. And I'm like, it's like, oh my, I'm like, hang on a second. And again, my knowledge from the block knows that fucking half the shit is, even though it's not scripted, it's scripted, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they have basic plot points. And
Like you sabotaging the paint. That was...
well, no, they saw an opportunity and then they just pushed that narrative, right? So my thing is, the Beauty and the Geeks makes sense 10 years ago, but these days, particularly when they say beauties aren't like people that are, you know, supermodel level beautiful or whatever aren't necessarily dumb these days, because like they have phones and makeup tutorials and social media and stuff that forces them to learn a lot of the shit that crosses over with the geeks anymore. So it's no longer polar opposites, but they're still marketing it as if they are. They're like, we found this beautiful woman that hasn't touched technology before. We're going to put this on the it's like, no, this has got to be fake.
It has to be.
It has to be fake, because being like a beauty, if you're all right. So what basically my thought was, hang on a second, isn't just if you're right into makeup and like taking great pictures and being, you know, popular on Instagram, whatever, you are a nerd. You're a geek for that sort of shit, because you're watching beauty tutorials and you're using the best cameras and lighting and shit like that. You have to be a nerd to be that. It's not like they went and picked people on the street and say, hey, you're looking good. Are you dumb? Can we get you on the show?
They could have.
It's then become like Boss Ass Bitch and the Socially Awkward. It's like the new show.
I
mean, that would make more sense.
Well, you're saying this, but I definitely know some people who are dumb as dog shit still. So I feel, and dumb and beautiful, like himbo's out there.
The question is, if they're dumb and beautiful, right, are they still polar opposites to the point where they couldn't use a mobile phone?
I've just thought of something. New television show, right? Can I just put
Himbos and bimbos?
No, I was gonna just be like e-girls and the himbos.
I mean, that makes more sense, right? That actually makes more sense, because e-girls and then like football players.
Oh god! Like what?
Because that makes more sense. Because I feel like the football players, they just play sport and fucking eat lots of food and surf and you know, that's all they do. They could actually survive without any technology.
Just a built rugby player just is like, oh, I love how you going? And it's just this.
I love Overwatch, and he's like, I play football. He's like, oh, what player do you play? I play football.
I would love a show. That
I would
is
actually
more
watch
like
that.
I would watch like an e-girl and meathead kind of show.
That makes, but my point is that makes more sense than the Beauty and the Geek. Like that stereotype's dead. Giga Chad.
I was lurking Noah's stream the other day, and I was watching all these videos in the background. And whilst I was I think I kept like quoting random parts of the video in there, and it was just like one of the videos was men who wear pit vipers.
You tagged me
no
about.
idea what was happening.
And it was just like.
Frog, that was when he was auto-modded like 4 times. So he just kept spewing about cunt.
I kept spamming cunt in chat, and it just kept getting picked up. There was also there was one where it was just like how the current generation handles breakups. It's like there's the chicks just sitting there just like she was saying a bunch of shit about like real like TikTok-y shit. I don't know how.
This is the clip that I sent you, Shelby.
And it was just like, I'm looking for. I need someone with Big Chunga's Pog Daddy energy. And it was like, what's that?
It's like I feel like you've got the something energy. I really feel more like I need that Big Chunga's Pog Daddy energy or something like that.
What was it? It's like support this, cancel this. It's just like cancel this.
It's basically that they use every single buzzword out of TikTok for the last year in a sentence. Yeah. It's an incredible clip because it's so fucking real.
That's when you just toss Frog in there. You can be a little pog champ.
It's like what's that other clip? I'm sure you've seen it as well. It's that other clip where they're like how to make friends in the year 2021. And they're like, show me your best something face. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's some great energy. Give me a sheesh.
There was this one watches like how they visit friends in hospital, and the actor that runs this channel, he actually got hit by a truck, right? And so they took the opportunity whilst they were in hospital to film this video, right? So he's actually in pain, right? He's got a cast on. He's like, the chick walks in and she's just like, sheesh, like walks in. He's like, and then proceeds to like, and he's like, what? It's like, I'm on so many medications. And
I've
like,
seen that one as well.
That's so cringe. And it's like, and it's like, wait, I'm feeling something. And she like puts her hand like on the forearm, and it's like, wait, low key cringe and shit like that. It's just so bad.
That's what I want to see on Beauty and the Geek. I want to see that. Yeah. I want to see
one of them
the thing is
with
that,
a Chad. Like.
Yeah, so instead of like go back to like if they were going to make this show Beauty and the Geek, whatever, all right, if they do it more from a more from a TikToker's point of view, I guess, instead of just like classic geek, I live in my mum's basement, which seems to be the way to go. But if they have it like, you know, this here is Jasmine, this is Steve, and then Steve comes up, it's like, sheesh, and then she's like, what's wrong with him?
It's literally just Shaughnessy just walks in. The biggest Shawnee sheesh that you can hear
all the way. Oh man, I hate.
You just walk in and you give him one of the wahoo.
If you do it with a flip, I'd be impressed.
All right, I'm noting that down.
Walks in, wahoo, tips fedora, and just walks off.
My lady.
God, that'd be funny.
Oh man, I don't know. Fucking, it just goes further to show that like free to air national television is so out of touch with where the internet is right now, and just like geek and nerd culture. Unless, like, prove me wrong. If there's a sheesh on that show, I will apologize and I'll take it back.
And then you'll watch it.
I won't. We won't be watching it ever. Fucking
not even if there's a sheesh.
Not even. I thought that show was dead. I just thought that it aged out, because some shows really do just age out to the point where they're like, that's not really relevant.
I remember
anymore.
there was like this really cute couple who got together from the American version. They were actually really sweet, and it turned out the girl was actually a bit of a nerd, and they got along really well, and they ended up getting married.
That's
and
entirely my point. But it's not what the show narrative wants to be.
But this was also like 10 years ago, and they were still, they still just thought that she was a bimbo.
Yeah, it's a lot like shows like 24, for example. You know, Jack Bauer, that was a huge show.
I love that show.
It's so good, but then at the same time, like, if you were to look at like season 1 or season 2 of that show, and then like now, you'd be like, oh, they could solve that with, you know, technology that's available now. So, you go back to old Mission Impossible movies and stuff like that, where they can't contact each other because they don't have mobile phones, and it's like, well, it can be solved now. It's the same thing they were talking about. I was reading this article. They're talking about who's going to be the next James Bond, right? And because James Bond's been around since the 60s. And it's like, yeah, we're sort of struggling to make it more current, because you can't be a misogynist, you know, womanizing white agent that flies around the world and murders hundreds of people without any issue.
Just have him get slapped around a bit.
Well, they do now, and like we watched Casino Royale. Like I showed you the
did.
Daniel Craig, right. And it's like they literally smack him in the balls a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a hot scene. I remember watching that and feeling ill.
Daniel Craig looks ripped in that scene.
You know that they used this stunt double for his penis in that scene?
Yeah.
There's
something.
Somebody get the stunt dick.
He's got a small schlong, and they had to put a stunt dick on.
Guy walks in. Hello, I'm the stunt dick. Slap my balls.
You're imagining it's like a whole guy. Like I'm imagining it just being like an extension or something, like a little.
There are people that are just like a, what do they call them? Fucking
the waist down shot. You know?
Like, yeah, they are. Yes, they're like a stand-in for like those nude scenes that like professional actors don't want to do. They're like, I'm not doing that sex scene. You know, I don't want them to see my hairy ass bumping up and down. And they, all right, bring in the ass model, let's go.
I'm the professional sex.
The hair is a
person.
little bit
It's a
inaccurate. We're
thing.
going to need to add some in post.
Yeah, a bit of blush.
Can you put some color in my ass, please?
Nice one, Frog.
I just want to be flush, nice and prim for the shot. Wait, no, not working. Stunt ass. Come in. All right, let's go.
How did we get here?
I don't know. We were talking about Beauty and the Geek, and suddenly we're onto stunt asses.
now
so-
we're putting makeup on someone's ass.
What was with that episode of Friends? Joey got the part, but he had to be Al Pacino's ass, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that's right. Was it Al Pacino? Yeah.
Yeah. and then he had to be uncircumcised.
That's right.
So Monica made him the little thing with lunch meat.
Excuse me, what with lunch meat?
Put his foreskin.
She made his foreskin out of lunch meat.
I mean, that's not inaccurate.
What? That it's lunch meat?
I think that's a good substitute. Anyway, forget I said that.
No, you can't go back.
No, that's not going back. That's recorded on the internet now. That's it. That's out there.
I hope I hope my parents know.
When Shelby goes for president, they're gonna get this clip. Shelby refers to foreskin as lunch meat.
Hey, I just said that it wasn't inaccurate. I didn't do the reference.
Is that where you go, chuck that lunch meat in my bread roll? And then just like,
Oh man, lunch meat's not gonna look the same.
I'm no longer hungry.
Just trying not to say anything.
Well, while we're on the topic of food, do you guys have Arby's
We do not.
in Australia?
we do not.
Do you know what Arby's is?
It's
It does
like
have lunch meat.
Yes,
it does.
They do a lot of lunch meat.
Is
sandwiches,
Arby's like
but
a
anyway.
I don't know what the right term would be for it, but not like a truck stop, but like a diner sort of thing, or
No, it's not a diner. It's fast food. They do like briskets and ham and
Okay.
cheese sandwiches and stuff. And they have your sides, mozzarella sticks, jalapeno poppers, but they're known a lot for not just like their sandwiches. Like their slogan literally is Arby's, we have the meat. But the curly fries, because not too many places do curly fries anymore, but they do, and like the curly fries are great. But they have crinkle cut fries now.
nice.
And someone
that's normal,
on
yeah.
Facebook, she had said, I can't believe they have crinkle cut fries because I don't know what to decide. And I'm like, if you have to make a decision between crinkle cut fries or curly fries, you're doing life wrong. You choose curly every time.
Yes, 100%.
Because like they're so delicious, and they're seasoned curly fries too. Like they're great. If crinkle cut fries are the most boring version of potato that you could ever possibly do.
I agree.
And I can't believe
I
that I
agree.
read that she was indecisive.
And
It
also,
pissed me off.
I'd like to point out that, particularly in Australia, like curly fries is not a big thing in Australia. Like it's kind of a rarity, and it's usually like if you went to like your burger place versus your upper market burger place, your upper market burger place might give you some curly fries, and it's delicious.
Right.
But
Right.
crinkle
Yeah.
cut,
Curly fries.
crinkle cut
Boring.
Crinkle cut?
is like I grew up in my poor family household of getting frozen crinkle cut fries with pretty much every meal.
That's
and
what I was about to say.
it's almost like an Australian thing.
It's like Sunday night. Dad comes home from the footy. He's too fucked to like cook anything, and we're all kids, so we
Throws
don't have
crinkle-cut
any.
fries in
We
the
don't have
oven.
any fuck thing. 4 meat pies straight in the oven. Crinkle cut fries. That's our dinner. Let's go.
Crinkle
No,
cut
no,
fries
that-
cook
that's
really
an
well
everywhere
because
thing.
they have
That's
a
an
high
everywhere
surface area to inside ratio.
Yeah, do you know where the best place to cook them is? An air fryer.
In an air fryer, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's right.
my god! We're back in the
No.
cold of air fryer.
We still haven't bought one.
I mean, you didn't mention the fact that I said meat pies in the oven.
But, like,
as
reading
well, so-
what she had posted about it, I'm not saying she is a stupid human.
Yeah,
I
me-
just think that she needs to rethink her decisions, because if you can't decide between the two, then what are you doing?
I was at the supermarket today, and they were selling chips that are microwaved. Like
Yes, I've seen
Oh,
those. I've had them. They're
frozen
not
ones?
very good.
The frozen ones?
there was frozen, and it
frozen
says
chicken?
"quick chips, microwavable." That's what it says.
Ah,
They're
So-
for
I've
sad
seen-
bachelors.
You could put your whole meat pies and chips in the microwave.
You can put all of that in the air fryer.
Okay, we should do. You know what? We should do like a week-long challenge where you are only allowed to cook using a microwave.
That's
See
easy.
how long you last.
No, that's so fucking easy.
He
Come by
already
takeaway.
does it.
How about no?
Before you moved in, that was his life.
There's a lot that I can cook in a microwave. I could tell you right now. Microwave is the 1970s air fryer, you know?
I was going to say, when microwaves first became like, when microwaves first became popularized in like the 1970s,
yeah,
there
people
was a
were like,
lot. There was a lot of like recipe books created that were just microwave cookbooks, right?
wow, that's
So,
like how there is air fryer cookbooks
yeah,
now.
If you ever go to like an op shop and you're looking at like the recipe book section, because there's always a huge one, half of them will be vintage microwave only recipe
Because
cookbooks, and they're all
back in
terrible.
the 70s, there was the
They were the
microwave
new
code.
air fryer, the microwave.
Everyone's telling everyone, you gotta get this Mac, and they're like, I cook everything in my oven.
I just want to kind of guarantee in about like 10 years time we'll go to like an op shop and we'll just find tons of air fryer cookbooks.
It's the same as
it'll
like
be
you
the
can
same thing.
you go to op shops now and you can find like the George Foreman cookbook for the George Foreman grill. It's like,
And like slow cookers and instant pot cookbooks. Like there's definitely like trends. We're gonna find that.
I feel like slow
That's
cookers
something
were the last one.
I do want an
Yeah.
Instapot. That's a thing.
I used to use an Instant Pot when I was living with my parents, and I kind of want to get one now. And you could cook absolutely anything in there and really rapidly cook anything. And it has like a pressure cooker feature, which pressure cookers terrify me because you try to release the valve and steam goes everywhere, and I feel like I'm about to die.
Also,
So-
just look up pressure cooker burns, and then you don't want a pressure cooker anymore.
Exactly. Have you ever been terrified for your life while cooking a meal? Because I have. Every time I have to use a pressure cooker.
Once upon a
use
time.
It's
We use a
deep fryer all
giant.
over
We use
again.
a giant version of a pressure cooker at my work. It's called an autoclave, and it's
Ooh.
yeah, it's
Ooh.
basically.
So you cook your pies in there?
Yeah, we cook our pies. My boss, when I was talking to him, he was trying to show me what it was. He's like, "Oh yeah, Google autoclave fuck ups." I googled them.
Oh, no.
And basically, there's these videos of like in China and like multiple like people just scattering away from these fucking autoclaves, and like imagine like a giant submersible, like a big submarine sized chamber, and then all these like pot rivets just shooting out of it, like comically shooting out of it, whilst people are
Oh man,
angry. Yeah, it's quite scary.
Moose doesn't like the sound of that. Moose is scared of the
scared of that.
autoclave.
It reminds me of that thing that I posted just before in the link drops, and the only reason I posted it is because I saw it on Reddit. But I have seen it in 5 different angles on TikTok in the last day. And it's basically one of those show rides where you sit in the chair, you get strapped in, and then it's like 10 people in a row, and then it spins around. Like you go upside down, up above you, and then down, whatever. But it's like no one's tied it to the ground. So as soon as it starts swinging around and throwing its weight around, the whole thing starts lifting off and tilting back and forth. And it's insane. And it's mainly the main reason why I'd never fucking go on those fucking rides every time I see them.
Yeah.
Hate those rides.
I've never really been on many rides growing up.
Dodging cars are the best.
I've done dodging cars where I don't dodge anything. I just ram people by accident and give myself
Can't
whiplash.
dodge a wrench. You can't dodge a ball.
But I think the only thing I've ever been on is like small water slides. I've never done a roller coaster or anything like that.
Wait, are we talking? Are we back on the topic of that sketchy ride?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to talk about this. You know, I'm going on vacation soon.
Gonna give you some anxiety to take.
So where I grew up,
I'm
they
already terrified of heights.
They have the show. It's basically the county show, county fair, if you like. And
Okay.
they have they have their horses and chicken show and dog show and cooking and pictures and all that sort of stuff there. And all that, but they also have rides. But there's only like 2 like bigger, scarier sort of rides, if you like. There was one that's like it's called the Zipper. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that, but it's like
it's like a cage that you sit in and it spins.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing spins in a circle, and then your cage also
spins in a circle. That's it. I hated that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
My friends did that a lot, and then there's the other one they call the Kamikaze, which are basically like 2 train like carriages, and they're just on these huge arms that like spin you around like sky up.
Oh yeah, I've seen those at the Melbourne show.
Yep, hate those 2 rides. Never went on those. There was a couple other ones that go. There was one I think it was called the Thunderbolt, and like you sit in a cage, and then it's on an arm, and it goes around through like a little like it's like on an arm that goes around in circles, but it goes really fucking fast. But you just strap in and hold on and feel the G's. It's fine. But that was like the only ride that I ever went on that was remotely like I'm gonna lose my lunch. But they had a surprising amount of rides for that show. But I think from what people were telling me, that's obviously while I was growing up, and then once I left, I haven't really been back for one. But little people were like, yeah, insurance kind of ruined everything. Everything costs too much money now, and it's just full of like carnies trying to rip you off with like games and stuff like that. So it's not the same.
Do you guys have the UFO ride out there?
What's the UFO ride?
Typically you can find them at carnivals. I don't know, some theme parks I would imagine have them.
The one where you get pinned to the wall.
Yeah, like the outside.
Yeah, we had that once.
It's like a big UFO, and it's like it spins super fucking fast.
Yeah.
The best part about those is when you unlink your chain and then you try to walk around, but you can't.
Yeah, I saw a video. I think it was on YouTube where someone it had like a surge or something, so it stopped for a second, and someone fell down onto the base of it, and then it started up again, and everyone's like screaming, like, yeah, that's why I hate that ride.
This is similar to rides, but like I'm going away next week to the snow, and so one of the things that I'm trying to teach myself and learn is how to get on and off of the lifts, like the snow lifts. So like apparently because you got all your snow gear on, there's all these videos of people like fucking up and like coming off the ski rides,
off the ski lifts, yeah,
off them wrong. And so I'm not worried about hurting myself snowboarding or anything. I'm more worried about embarrassing myself and fucking up in front of and because they literally stopped the ride and people would just dangle in the air for fucking ages whilst snowboarders like have fucked up coming off the thing, or like there's just people that have just crashed and like.
How's your balance?
My balance is good. My balance is fairly good.
As long as you can balance yourself when you come off, because that's the key.
Yeah.
Is positioning.
I've never,
it's just like Apex.
I've never been to the snow or done any of that stuff, but I very much have this like anxiety of if I ever go, I'm never gonna know how all this shit works, and I will be the person dangling upside down off a fucking ski lift going up the cliff. That'll be me for sure, because like I know I used to be friends with this guy who is basically, for all intensive purposes, he's a lumberjack, all right? And, like, he looks like one as well. And he used to go and, like, he would work up in the snowfields for 6 months a year and do that, and he'd come work for me. And, like, the shit that he'd, like, tell me, like it'd be, like, foreigners would come and they'd be, like, just drive up in their hire car and get stuck in the snow, or they'll bloody try to get on the ski lift backwards and then fall over and... rock up with like shorts and thongs and bloody just think that like just idiot stuff like that. And I'm like, that's definitely going to be me. I'm going to fuck this up.
No, we don't need to do the skiing and the snowboarding. Let's just go tobogganing and crash into people.
My boss is saying the big thing right now. My boss was saying, because he went up last week to the snow.
Yeah.
And he's just like, the big thing was there's one ride, there's one lift that's meant for sightseeing that goes directly from the car park. So you don't go to any of the village or anything.
Yeah. You
go directly from the car park. It takes you to the top of a peak, and you can do some sightseeing up there. And there's all these all these foreigners just in literally like jeans, a leather jacket.
Yeah, this is my point.
Boat shoes, bro. Like, come on, like at least get some proper fucking shoes. Like, what are you doing? And so he kind of went in a dodgy. The way you could get past the COVID testing was you went in through that car park, went up, and then you just like bush bash a little bit, and you can like slide in. So
shame. Bash?
Do you not know? Have you never heard that term, Nor? Bush
we
bash.
just talked about bush.
You just make your own road, basically.
You make your own road. Yeah. So what he did was you just slide down. Like he skis, so he can like do cross country kind of shit with it. But anyway, so he did that to get like to the place, and he had to go up behind a group of tourists that just like were fucking like in front of him in literally boat shoes, and one of them was wearing like a tank top, sort of like just like sleeveless shirt thing. It's just, what are they fucking doing in the cold? And meanwhile, he's behind, dressed to the tits in like snow gear, like he was still cold. Like, how are you going up that high? Like, what are you? How are you surviving?
Sense. I just remember last time that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go see snow and do this snow thing finally because it's not that far from Melbourne. Let's be honest. And then I'm like, okay, so I need to get there, and then I need boots and I need snow gear, and I'm like, fucking hell, it's expensive. Like to do it properly. That's probably why no one does it properly. Because
or if you just live in places that
just snows on,
get cold.
I mean, it's got
the stuff.
It's got close to snowing closer, but it's like muddy.
Have you ever seen the Disney movie Johnny Tsunami?
No.
So he's this famous surfer. He's a kid in Hawaii, and his grandfather was also a legend surfer, and he's really good. Like he's the prodigy, you know. His dad gets a job to go to like Minnesota or something like that. And
is this the show where they're all penguins?
It's a movie, and no, they're people.
The penguin want to surf up.
He goes from Hawaii, where it's hot all the time, doesn't fucking get cold, to this place where it's nothing but cold and snow. So he transitions from being a surfer to a snowboarder. But his mom's like, you should pack a jacket. And he's like, no, I'll be all right. They get off the plane. It's fucking windy. It's colding. It's snowing. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and shorts. And he's like, that's you. That's what I imagine.
Yeah.
That would be you.
I went to visit my friend who was working in the Whitsundays, which is like the tropical islands next to the Great Barrier Reef. And I left Melbourne in like jeans and like jacket and everything else, freezing my ass off. And then I got up there and it's like 100% humidity and 3 times the heat. Get off the plane, I'm like, oh my god, this feels so heavy. I need to get into my swimmers and into the pool bar straight away because and that's where I stayed.
Great Barrier Reef is hot.
Reef.
Yeah, I just
you said weef.
I didn't want to put that out
in my head. I'm gonna not forget about weef all day.
So what we're learning is that Shelby's a bully. That's what I'm learning.
It's pretty close to
it.
I'm sorry. I pointed it out.
Oh my god. Fuck you guys. How's that sound?
I didn't say it.
Going back to my lumberjack friend, like I just want to push how much of a lumberjack this guy is. He came into work and he was half an hour late. And I asked him why he was late, and he used to ride a postie bike, so postman's motorbike, right? That's what he got around with. And he was waiting to make a right-hand turn, and his car just hit him at full speed, and he went straight through the windscreen of this car, and then he just got up, and his bike was fucked, obviously, and he just caught a taxi and came to work. He's like, "That's fine, I'm fine." He shows me a picture of this car. He put the people that were in that car, everyone in that car went into a hospital because he smashed not through the front windscreen, but both windscreens. And just came out the other side, and he's just got a couple scratches on him. He's a fucking tank, this guy. He's just built like a tank. And he's just like, it's fine, I'm sorry I was late, I'll stay back an extra half hour. I'm like, you should go home.
I'll be all right.
Yeah, he's just like, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just like, man, I wish I was like built like that. Holy shit. But yeah, he showed me like the car was fucked. His bike was flat. Like it was just shards of metal left. And he said the only thing he was upset about, they couldn't find where his shoe went. He missed one shoe came off in the whole crash. I'm like, it's probably in the car somewhere. He's fucking wild. But yeah, I don't know. I think he went over to Denmark or something. He's over in Europe somewhere.
I have a question, and this is a little bit of a change of topic.
Okay.
But I have a question, and it's just something that I was scrolling through the topics, right? And I've got a dog crying. I'm sorry.
Is that Wally?
I just want to ask, no, what the hell's an Alabama Hot Pocket?
Oh, no.
How do you not know what it is?
I've heard of other things, but I just wanted to know what that one was specifically, because I don't know.
It's as bad as the braces story. We're not talking about it.
You sure?
No, we're not.
No.
Listen, Frog, when I go live later, okay, come into my chat, type !define space Alabama Hot Pocket. Urban Dictionary.
How are you not cancelled?
I don't know.
I googled it. There you go.
Oh, and then also underneath it, there's a very good topic from Pratt's, but I'll leave that one for when he's next on.
What do you mean?
Who wrote the Alabama Hot Pocket one? Was it me?
That was me.
Oh.
That's
Motherfucker.
well. I have the question. I was like, Prats has got a theory about pregnancy, and I just
What?
wanna, well, it says here, what if when you were pregnant you have to have sex every day to build the baby, and then
That guy needs a birds and the bees talk. That's not how it works. That's just not how it
It's the
works.
thumb debacle all over again.
Oh god.
I mean,
basically
it's like maybe there is like an alien species out there who have to do that because maybe their cells don't divide correctly and they have to just,
add cells.
build-
I mean, there is a movie called Species that has a lot of sex in it, but that's still not how it works.
that we know of.
I just like to point out that I put in wholesome topics like Orange World into our topics channel.
I need to go there.
I'm gonna have my 40th birthday there.
What if you're colorblind, right? You go to Orange World and be like,
It's Fruit
why
World.
they call this place Orange World?
Oh, I hate it so much.
I'm trying to see if there's any other cool topics now.
What do you mean? There's literally 400 there from Norstar. Norstar, bring up one of your topics here. Let's go.
I constantly I'll be at work and just thinking because the only way I'm getting through my days as of late is if I just take my mind elsewhere because I've been in a lot of physical pain for a while. So I just come up with these topics and think about it, and I have to write them down because if not, I'll forget. So we can pick one. I'll let Shelby pick one actually, and then we can discuss it.
Knock knock. Shelby,
Yes.
pick a topic.
I don't understand the assignment.
Pick a topic.
Pick a
Just
topic.
any of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you like.
Fuck, I always get lost on my way to that channel.
Whatever
Is it-
stands out.
Okay. Let's have a look. Make some thinking music for me, please.
Dun, 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 dun.
Could do the Jeopardy theme song.
Shelby, it's not that hard. Just pick the first thing you see.
I am literally the dumbest bitch around when
Oh
it comes
my
to making
God.
decisions. Okay. Well, does Australia not know about crisscross applesauce?
No,
What's a
Prats has to be here. Prats has to be here for that one. He's the
Well,
reason why I
you
put
should
that in
have
there.
specified.
Well, do you guys know what crisscross applesauce is?
I
So when
don't.
you sit cross-legged on the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
so
wasn't
Shelby
taught
gets
that
it.
in school. I just know that from like.
How do you know
American
what that
TV.
is?
American TV and stuff.
You must watch some absolute garbage television.
I do. I definitely do.
First off, she said American. Okay, don't refer American and garbage in the same sentence. Okay.
I mean,
So what should I say? What is the ranch versus blue cheese debate? The war in America? Are there an actual war?
the
Well, I
ranch
mean,
twist blue cheese.
nobody's killing each other over it, but
Uh-huh.
it does. It
I
does
want
lead
to
to
ask
rather
America a
heated.
question.
Oh,
No, you
all
know
of
what?
America?
I want to ask him.
I mean, Norstar is basically our president of America.
Okay, Norstar,
Yeah,
president
I
of
speak,
America.
I speak for America.
You
to
speak
the
for
Australians.
America.
Okay,
I have a
let's do
bone to
this.
pick with you. Why
Okay.
is ranch dressing so popular in America? Because it
Because
kind
it's
of tastes.
fucking delicious.
Okay,
and,
it's
we're not
tasty in small
communists. That's why
quantities,
we don't
but
eat.
It just
blue cheese.
otherwise though, it tastes like way too tangy to eat massive amounts of it. But people act like they basically drink it.
Well,
What-
I mean, what do you? What's your ranch reference to
Yeah,
say
what do
that?
you what do you
kind-
like that's like equivalent?
What kind of ranch
Uh,
do you guys have?
Like ranch dressing.
Well, there's not all ranch
Well,
dressing.
hang
is
on.
the same.
Let's go back a step. All right. What does Australians use ranch dressing for?
Salad.
And that's
Yeah.
it.
Sometimes a dipping sauce for like chicken nuggets.
That's it.
Yeah,
That'll
so
be
we
it.
use ranch dressing for a lot of things. You put it on your chicken wings. You can put it on your fries. You put it on your pizza.
But
Some people
why?
put it on their breakfast. Because it's I don't know. We just love it. But then there are also the people that hate it and they choose blue cheese. So if there are two people in a room here and the topic of ranch and blue cheese gets brought up, and one's on one side and one is on the other, I promise you it will turn into a heated discussion.
I feel
What
like
about
bl-
instead like, of both of them? Garlic aioli is just better.
I feel like
That's
blue
not-
cheese is used even less than ranch in Australia.
Yes. I
I
get blue
personally-
cheese.
I
I get
hate
blue
blue
cheese
cheese.
sauce every time I go to Subway.
Hmm.
I don't
So,
know why.
For
but
me,
every blue cheese I've had is disgusting.
so for me, the equivalent would be like mayo was like a thing that I'm like, oh, this tastes great with almost everything. And then I went from mayo to garlic aioli. I'm like, this tastes great with everything. And now I just use that on everything.
Funny enough, there's also a mayonnaise and Miracle Whip war as well.
What's Miracle Whip?
Miracle Whip.
It's whip. It's kind of like it's essentially a salad dressing.
Isn't it just basically the same as mayonnaise, but it's like thicker and it's whole egg instead of just yolks?
It's like a lot. It's a lot sweeter.
Miracle Whip is a sauce condiment manufactured by Kraft Foods.
It's basically mayonnaise, but it's not mayonnaise at the same time. Like they taste completely differently, but they come in similar containers and they look the same. They just don't taste the same.
It was developed to be a less expensive alternative to mayonnaise in 1933.
So if it's a less expensive alternative to mayonnaise,
that's what it was developed for.
What have they taken out of it that's cheap? What have they substituted?
Probably less lard. I don't know.
You don't put lard in mayonnaise.
Six Flags announced a new partnership with Miracle Whip in 2009.
To America.
What the fuck?
I'm kind of glad that I missed this.
A mayonnaise recipe is basically whole eggs or egg yolks, depending on how you want to make it.
Hang on.
Mustard, vinegar or lemon juice, and oil. It's definitely not lard.
Okay, I need to stop. All right, we need to stop for a second, and you need to listen to this, because this shit is like America in a nutshell, I guess. So in the we're talking about Miracle Whip still. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, Miracle Whip attempted to appeal to younger audiences with Miracle Whip advertising features prominently in the Electronic Arts video game Skate 3, including a dedicated trick contest and an achievement called Don't Be So Mayo. What the fuck? What? This is just mayo.
The gaming crossover with mayo. That's
Kraft
so
paid
good.
Lady Gaga to include Miracle Whip in her music video for her song Telephone.
Oh yeah, she makes a sandwich, right? And she puts Miracle Whip on them, and she also poisons everyone in the diner. While they're eating Miracle Whip.
That is that they make Kraft mayo, but then they also make Miracle Whip.
Yeah. It's kind of television adverts describe Miracle Whip as an alternative to the real boring mayonnaise.
It's an actual war. Like
I just searched, right, and I was looking.
God.
I was searching for telephone Miracle Whip, but I accidentally clicked on shopping instead of images, and then it brought up like a set of leggings that are designed to look like a Miracle Whip jar, and now I kind of want these leggings.
There's one more thing here I need to read. In 2018, the town Mayo, Florida, temporarily changed its name to Miracle Whip as a promotional stunt.
Where do you live? I live in Miracle Whip.
I hate Miracle Whip, but I kind of want those pants now.
This is great.
I'm kind of glad that I missed the majority of the Miracle Whip conversation. Came in on the back end of this, but
so Miracle Whip is made from water, soybean oil, corn syrup, vinegar, and cornstarch, eggs, salt. So it's mayo with a heap of other shit to water it down, and garlic.
Yeah, it has a really distinct taste that it differs tremendously from mayonnaise.
That's wild.
So what I've learned is that here with the blue cheese and ranch, you'll find people that like one or the other, but then there's a lot of people that like both. When it comes to mayonnaise and Miracle Whip, there's not like typically a common ground. It's one or the other.
I can get Miracle Whip from the IGA.
Please. I think if you've never had it, you should get it.
I reckon.
And just try it just so you can know how different it is and how disgusting it is.
Well, I just looked up the telephone music video that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like these sandwiches that she's making, she uses these to murder everyone. So I just want to make sure if this is like the good quality advertising that they've paid for is for Lady Gaga to murder everyone with Miracle Whip sandwiches.
Yeah, just to show how fucking bad it is.
You know what the real question is? Google, just go to Google and type in how much did Miracle Whip pay to be in that clip. That would be the interesting thing. Because, yes,
it's a big segment in the clip I'm watching. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they paid a lot of money for it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. She also doesn't. Okay, so she didn't poison the Miracle Whip sandwiches. She poisoned some maple syrup. They're off the hook.
This episode is going to be called Miracle Whip. I can already tell.
You know how much money people pay to get commercials during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, insane amounts. That's why they've got.
It's ridiculous.
That's why they stopped like spending their entire marketing budget on having a 30-second thing, and then instead having a 10-second thing that says "keep watching on YouTube," and then they because they used to put all the film trailers used to like premiere and stuff. Now they do like a short version of the film trailer for Super Bowl and make you go to YouTube to watch the rest of it because it's like
that's what most
so
people watch
much
the Super Bowl
thousands.
for. Like,
yeah,
if you're not a football fan, you still watch it because the commercials are going to be
pretty much the entire world except for America watch it just for the commercials. Just putting that out there.
Well, that's fair. But a lot of America also watches it just for the
Put it this way,
commercials.
all right? You don't watch our national grand final, like the AFL grand final, for even the
why
commercials.
The fuck not? Yeah,
You watch it.
You're watching the AFL fucking meatloaf on the stage.
Oh, it's good. Oh, you took my week. I was going to make the meatloaf joke. God damn it.
Fuck me, meatloaf is this fucking.
Meatloaf is like a singer. And very popular back in the day, but he's not back in the day anymore. He just looks like he's having a heart attack, and it was not a good halftime show.
Wait, you guys can watch our Super Bowl over there?
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't get your ads, though. We get our ads.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Why would you get ads for stuff that are here?
Exactly. But that's not to say that the ads don't immediately turn up in every news outlet here. It's like, oh my God, look what Budweiser did this year. It's like, woo.
Yeah, they typically go with like the Clydesdales for their ads.
Yo, how much would it cost?
Especially for the Christmas ones.
How much would it cost for a tub of Miracle Whip?
Here?
I'm
Yeah.
not asking for myself.
I
as
think
well.
it's like
So
depending on where you go, it's like
30
it's like
ounce,
3-4 bucks.
30-ounce jar.
Probably like $3-4, something like that.
$20 Australian here.
Oh,
Fuck.
That's got to be some fucking Miracle Whip, I tell you what.
And 20 Australian dollars is 15 American.
So happy to find this in an Australian supermarket.
That's
Shelves
ridiculous.
stocking it.
For five gifted subs, I will pour Miracle Whip on myself in a pool.
There's that American lolly shop in Australia that they're on TikTok. They should probably have Miracle Whip.
No, I'll take it to the place. The place.
You're gonna take me to a place where I can just get American
no,
candy?
no.
There's a place,
No place.
it's like southeast Melbourne called USA Foods. It's just like a supermarket full of just USA Foods.
Yeah, that's the one on TikTok.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I've been there many times. It's fucking amazing.
All right, let's go.
They've got a whole aisle for barbecue sauces.
yeah, barbecue sauce.
Because
there's a lot
it's
of
just
variety here.
there's none of that's in Australia, so they have a whole aisle
You guys-
for it.
Wait.
We have barbecue sauce, but we don't have we have
Australian
barbecue
and American
sauce, that's
barbecue
it.
sauces are very different.
same
Yeah.
with like
Your barbecue sauces.
like chili sauce and like your hot sauces and stuff like that. We don't have that kind of variety at all.
Our barbecue sauce is probably a bit more sweet. I think you guys is
Yeah.
a bit more like smoky.
Yeah.
Ours is very sugary.
Well, it also depends on what you get. So like we have, which is a popular one called Sweet Baby Ray's. That one,
I've
it's probably
had
one-
Sweet Baby Ray's.
It's one of my favorite barbecue sauces. I also use it to make meatballs.
Yeah,
Ooh.
here they'll occasionally sell Sweet Baby Ray's at like Aldi for like a special thing, and every time they do, my mother buys like 10 of them. and
It's so
stocks
good.
up. Yeah.
If you ever, I don't know if you've ever had it or tried it
I
before,
have.
but I would suggest it. No, what I'm about to tell you is you get a bag of meatballs, put it in a slow cooker, get a jar of Sweet Baby Ray's, or actually probably two bottles, and then a jar of jelly. Mix it all together. Let it cook for like 3-4 hours. It's fucking great.
Mm.
I know people do ribs with the Sweet Baby Ray's.
Well, they have like an aisle of like breakfast cereals and like all American drinks and shit like that. It's pretty crazy. I just saw that they also have on their website as well. They have a competing podcast. So
A competing podcast.
it's called G'day All.
Uh,
Herbs and spices, Italian pastries. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know what it was put there last. Anyway, yeah, we should go there.
I gotta act like a tub of Miracle Whip and dip.
I thought you were gonna say spread.
And spread. That's tomorrow. That's Sunday.
That's
Sunday.
a
That's for our
completely
date.
different segue.
That's for our date tomorrow, buddy.
Hell yeah! No, you're going out in the piss, aren't you?
Yeah, I timed this poorly. I should have realized that knocking you heard before. That was actually people coming to pick me up to take me out. So I apologize to them.
Go have a beer for me.
And now they're asking for links to the podcast that you're in.
Yeah, because they can hear me talking about Miracle Whip in the other room whilst they're fucking getting jumped on by 4,000 dogs.
So is this about to turn in the two wise men and Shelby podcast?
Yeah, 3 wise men podcast.
So 1 wise woman and 2 dumbasses.
Wow.
Whoa.
Anyway, see you, Frog. Have a good one.
Yeah, enjoy the rest. Bye.
And
I think the community's gonna vote now.
Wow. I mean, they haven't asked us to get rid of Shelby, so I guess she gets to stay. But also, what are we? We're episode 18. Episode 20 is going to be Shelby's podcast. I mean,
that's the all girls one, right?
All girls podcast.
But Jelly was it Jelly? Her.
Got to find a 4th girl.
Panda, and if Lucy gets her microphone sorted, Lucy can come.
It's not Shawnee, right?
Don't call Shawnee a girl.
No,
Stop!
we know that Shaughnessy is a guy, but he is a honorary woman with myself and Jelly and Trash because he actually pays attention to it, so he can come with.
Okay, but I'm not. There's not an argument I want to get into right now. It's like, just stop.
What?
It's fine, but that'll be episode 20, and then we're going to do, we'll do themed episodes every 10 episodes, I reckon. Might be cool.
Can I have an episode?
What, we'll do all-American podcast?
Yeah. It's just
us with really bad hick accents on.
What do you mean?
I'll strum up some rednecks.
Fuck yeah.
We could do it just like an Australia versus America podcast.
Oh yeah, we could.
But I don't know. I feel like the more Americans I talk to, the more I just like, I had no idea.
Oh.
It's like I just.
Good or bad?
Americans are playing a different game.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Well, to be fair, we're kind of playing a different game than the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, you that picture you posted of like your hot dog rolls and stuff. You'd never see that in Australia. Like
Really?
Doesn't happen.
You know, what do you put your hot dogs on?
It's not that common to have hot dogs at every thing.
Yeah, we don't really have hot dogs at.
You don't have hot dog stands or anything like that.
No.
And a lot of time, if they are, they'll be like, I don't know, boiled, I guess.
Yeah,
What?
you'd usually boil or steam hot dogs. You wouldn't cook them over like a grill. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against boiled hot dogs, but that's like if I'm at home because I'm lazy, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, well, they just-
water on the pot.
Here,
But
it's
if
a
I
bit
go
weird.
out and get a hot dog, I don't want a fucking boiled one.
But
I
this
can
is
do
my
that at home.
point, all right? You posted 2 pictures from America today, and I learnt shit again. I'm like, wow, they do things differently.
What's the other one? The other hot dogs from 7-Eleven?
Well, the other one, you got like your candy aisle and stuff like that. Having said that, like, what, a third of that candy would be here at it anyway, but like only a third. So, and then also like how much you pay for your candy is weird. Is that like $2, $3 for a candy bar?
Yeah. So I think they had specials on some of them. They're like 2 for $3.
Yeah, so like, like most of our, like a chocolate bar here would cost you maybe $2. Like it's cheaper. We're cheaper on one thing, but then I mean, if you want to really get into it, if we talk about alcohol, whew.
Oh yeah, our alcohol is way cheaper from what I've gathered.
Well, you know let's pick an alcohol that would both have, right? What would we both have? No, like not a wine, just like a beer or a spirit.
A
something like that.
Heineken.
Well,
Do you have a Heineken?
Actually, yeah, we have Heineken. We
Okay,
have,
6-pack of Heineken.
Oh, I don't know. I don't drink Heineken.
What do you
I honestly don't know.
what? So like just a normal 6-pack of beer. What would it cost you?
Probably about. I guess depending. It also depends on the brand because some brands are more expensive. So like I got. So it's funny that you say this because the Will, who was Goosebumps,
Yeah.
he was saying the other day that he found out that we have like big bottles of Corona.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'd never seen that.
Yeah,
I was
long
like,
necks.
Oh yeah, we have many sizes. And then the other day when I was talking to Tash, I told her I got an 18-pack. She was like, what? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we do them in 6 increments. You can get a 6-pack, a 12-pack.
There's like
18-pack,
there's
24,
reasons
30.
behind it all. It's just what I'm trying to get to. I guess it's
So I paid $11.99 for an 18-pack of Miller High Life. Which
for 18.
Yeah, for 18.
For what, like a light? So for light beer, yeah. Or
it's not a light beer.
It's not a light beer. Shit.
Their slogan is they're the champagne of beers.
Oh, fuck off.
It is. That's their slogan.
Okay. All right. Well,
it was for that. But that's on the cheaper side. They're
that's on a cheaper side. Yeah. No, it definitely is on the cheaper side. So give you. Okay, we're gonna use Heineken bottles, right? Which are 330 ml bottle. I don't know what that is in ounces or whatever, but for a single bottle of beer from the local what we call bottle-o, but shop, because like you have to be a licensed establishment to sell alcohol first of all.
Yeah, same.
So you can't be like, you can't get it from the supermarket or the corner shop or anything like that. You have to go to an actual liquor store to get it. A single bottle of beer is $4.60.
$4. I can get it. So I'm looking at it. I can go to the Total Wine place near me. It's like, I don't know exactly what their name is called.
Yeah.
$26.99 for a 24-pack of 12-ounce bottles.
24-pack.
Yeah.
You say. So 24-pack would cost me $47.
Oh my god.
Right. So that's one thing. But if we go to what we call a cruiser, which is like a vodka cruiser, right? So it's just a pre-mixed drink. Because and there's a reason for this as well. But that, like, if it loads up, is like, so a single bottle. This is a single bottle, and it's a smaller bottle, mind you, 275 ml bottle, $5.60 per bottle.
So my guess on that would be, it's like, because it's an import, because that's a German beer.
It's not even that.
So
it's brewed here in Australia. So they get the recipe, they come over here, and then we have local breweries that would brew that based on that formula.
Interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of, because like for example, there's a brewery that's down the road. They're friends of mine, and they started out as like a microbrewery, and then they just grew in popularity and through some really clever marketing and stuff like that. And they got brought out by Sahi, which is a huge liquor label that goes around. And all they did was they just took their most popular beers, moved it to another factory that can make it and mass produce it in kegs and bottles and whatever else. And then they do that, and the microbrewery just does whatever the fuck they want still. And they open up, and you can get weird like mandarin and orange beer and chocolate
we're talking
beer.
about Mountain Goat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
and
pretzel beer.
Didn't want to dox myself, but sure.
So they had like an infuser on the bar that was filled with fruit last time we went, and they were just infusing beer flavors. It was quite cool.
So the reason, Norstar, that is so much different is because of what Australia loves to call sin taxes. Basically, anything that's a sin, gambling, smoking, drinking, is taxed heavily, like 50% tax. So, and then when they go, well, there's too many young people drinking too many candy drinks that have got alcohol in it, then they had a premix tax hike. So then the easier to drink premixes got even more tax on them.
Oh, you know what? Actually, now that I recall, I do vaguely remember Frog talking about this topic one time.
Yeah, it's a thing because like you said, in America you get how many beers for fucking $20 versus we have to spend like $70 to get a premium beer, like a box of 24.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's fucking insane. So I'm just looking at Jack Daniels, a 10-pack of cans pre-mixed with Coke, $45.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah. Pre-mixed, mate. Ready to go.
Pre-mixed Jack and Coke?
Surely that's a thing in America.
I don't know. I'm about to find out. I don't typically
drink premixes.
Drink Jack and Cokes.
Yeah.
That was for a 6-pack, did you say?
No, that was a 10-pack on special. 10-pack of cans.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we do
$44.
we do have them here.
$44.
I can get, where is it at? How many come in this?
I kind of want to buy some drinks tonight.
Is this a 12-pack, 6-pack? Oh, it's a 4-pack. This is a 4-pack for $16.49.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's so basically on roughly you guys are 50% cheaper than we are.
$14.99 at this place. Yeah, they're all in 4-packs, it seems.
Yeah, so they like there's a lot of smaller companies and stuff like that which who do import deals, and there's a whole supermarkets and grocery stores do different buying things to get the price down and whatever else. But regardless of whatever the price they are, half of it goes to tax, so everything gets fucking expensive no matter what. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. Um,
Well, I mean, we have like tobacco tax and liquor tax, but nothing crazy like you have. Our tobacco tax in my state actually just went up, and their whole goal behind it, they said, well, we all know the real reasoning is because they want more money.
Yeah.
But what they stated is that they want to make tobacco products more expensive, so the less likely for the younger kids to become addicted because they won't be able to afford it.
basically, yeah.
But we all know it's just so they could fucking make money because the majority of their money comes from the older people who are already addicted, and we're gonna fucking buy it anyway because we're addicted.
So just having a quick look here, it's like tobacco prices were put up in April 2010. They added 25%, another 12% in 13, another 25% in 2018, and then it comes down here. These increases expected, blah blah blah. There's a limit. So the excise on tax on like cigarettes and tobacco is 70% in Australia, which is insane. And apparently that's the recommended. So there's a huge article here, but it says so the World Health Organization recommends a benchmark of 70%. So fucking insane. But yeah, it's all this taxes and stuff like that, which is crazy. The thing that makes it that sort of blows my mind a little bit is particularly Australia. We're known for getting on the piss and getting on the beers. Like it's it's not necessarily a healthy thing, but it is the thing that Australia is known to drink beer a lot. But it's not though when you look at other countries and how much their beer costs and how they just drink it because it's affordable beverage and an alternative. I mean, if I have a choice between getting myself a Coca-Cola for $1 or get myself a Jack and Coke for $8, it's like, well, I'm poor, so I guess I'm just drinking Coke tonight. But they're probably both just as bad for you. It's just obviously one. Yeah. Anyway, it's a mind-blowing thing. And I know like a lot of people that aren't in Australia that listens to this podcast will be like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, yeah. But it's like a friend of mine who went to Japan and lived over in Japan for ages, and he's just like alcoholic beverages. You just pick them up and they're super strong and super cheap. But like their culture over there is not one to get maggoted for a little. Having said that, he got maggoted, and he said that they used to have there was like some seedy street that they were like out drinking on, and they said they just literally have like pop-up bars that are in the street. And he got so drunk he fell off the back of his chair, but because it was on the road, basically, he fell off the back of his chair and onto the road where a car hit him.
Oh, no.
And he broke 2 ribs. But he didn't know that they were broken until the next day because he was so drunk. And it's a whole thing. And I'm like, only like this guy gets himself into trouble daily. And he was like, only you could go to Japan and break 2 ribs without even knowing about it. It's like, it was fucking hell. He was a drummer in a band, and like he couldn't drum because it hurt like hell. So they put this other drummer in for a while he was recovering. And I remember that when he started to heal up and whatever else, they just started playing. Like he started like practicing and playing again. So they ended up with 2 drummers, and they're like, this sounds kind of sick. So then they just ended up having 2 drummers, and it was fucking great. But he is he's an enabler, and like, and I'm aware we're sort of pushing on time, but it's like when I moved to Melbourne, you meet this guy who was like 10 years older than me, who's a fucking rock star basically, and it was let's go out and get on the piss tonight, go to a pub crawl, see a band, whatever else. We'll be home by 1 a.m. maybe, if not 3 a.m. I'm like, it's a Monday night. He's like, I don't care. You're coming. And I'm like, I won't. He's like, you're fucking coming, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. All right, guess I'm coming. It's like we went on so many random adventures, and I ended up in so many, like, I would never think I'd end up in these sort of situations, just because even though I wanted to say no, I want to go home and just like watch TV or something like that wasn't an option with this guy. So I guess I say yes, and then I ended up in amazing things. And that is without going into super detail, because I don't want to sort of give away what the shady shenanigans that went on, but if anyone's familiar with the kids show The Wiggles, yes. So I ended up taking a piss next to the Red Wiggle in a dirty bar in the back alley of Melbourne.
Well, you didn't tell me about this yesterday. You're like,
And,
I've seen the Red Wiggles dick. What was it? you were trying to tell me about the Transformers movie you watched when you were growing up. And then I was like, every day I used to just watch the Wiggles Christmas special over and over again. And you're just like, I've seen the Red Wiggles dick.
So this bar, I don't even think it's a thing anymore. But so this bar is called the Ding Dong Lounge, right? And anyone from Melbourne, this is like the dirtiest, scummy bar that you ever find, right? It's in a back alley, just a big metal door. You'd knock on it, you go up these stairs. Pretty sure you go up the stairs, up these stairs, and you go into this. It's got like dirty couches, and a band plays, and there's this bird who's got huge tits and this leopard print fucking onesie, bloody serving you beers at half the price of it everywhere else, and it's just great. And like international bands would play here just on the down low because it's such a cool bar. And my mate was playing there. Mind you, he's like, come to the bar, we'll catch up 10 o'clock, have a beer, stuff like that. And, we'll be playing. Got there at 10 o'clock. He doesn't go on stage till 4 a.m. So I'm like, all right, guess we're getting fucking drunk and we're drinking away and whatever else. And Murray, who is the Red Wiggle, the old Red Wiggle, not the new Red Wiggle, the older guy, was across, there's a Japanese restaurant across the road called the Flower Drum, which is very fancy, upmarket. Almost feels like the Yakuza's fucking, hangout spot. And he was over there with a bunch of friends and stuff like that, but he hated it, and he just came across to the Ding Dong Lounge to have a couple of beers and with like the seedy folk there. And that's when I ran into him in the men's room. But it was it's like the vibe and just the culture that was coming out of this place was insane. And I never knew it was a thing, and I never wouldn't have been there. And if it wasn't for my mate who basically dragged me by the collar to that place. And got very drunk and had to go to work the next day drunk, basically. But yeah, that's like there would be 30 stories like that with this guy. It's just like, yeah, it's like, I think that one more story from this guy, and then I'll move on, because this is, we were going to see, and I want to say it was a boxing match. We were going to the pub to watch a boxing match on TV, and I think it was like Floyd Mayweather or something like that. It was one of these like overhyped fights. Anyway, it was packed, and at this bar, I'm not going to name the bar because for reasons you'll find out shortly. Huge bar, absolutely packed full of people. You could barely move in this place, and the entire bar was on the corner of these two busy streets, and across the road was a cop station, and then like a car park next to it, and so on, and everything else. The bar itself the entire exterior was one-way glass. So from the outside, it just looks like mirrors. But from the inside, you can see out and everything else and whatever else. You could see this car and these people, and they're just being real shady. And they're in the cop station car park. And I'm like, well, everyone's watching it. Just imagine 300 grown-ass men in this bar that have just all of a sudden twigged to. There's something going on over in the cop station car park. And what it looked like was that this woman parked her car in there, and then this cop walked up to the car, the window wound down, his pants came down, and then someone paid a parking ticket, if you know what I mean. And there was people in this bar cheering and yelling and making all this noise. To them, they wouldn't have seen anything. To the bar, they could fucking see everything, and it was fucking wild. That I remember that night because we were there all night getting drunk, and there was a heap of us there, and everyone was like had found their spot where they can kind of see the TV at the end of the room and everything else. And then like 10 minutes before the fight starts, this guy walks in and he stands up in the middle of the room in front of the TV, and everyone's like, "Hey man, sit down. We can't see." And he's like, "No, I'm good." And we're like, "Yeah, but we can't see, dude." And like, there was a couple guys who were like, keep going, "Hey, mate, you need a chair, you can sit here." And this guy's like, "Nah, mate, I'm good." And we're like, anyway, my mate, he's bumping me with his elbow, and he goes, "I'm gonna deck him. You got me?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "When the fight comes out, you get me, right?" And I'm like, "I guess." And he's getting up, and he's putting his keys and shit down on the table because he's like getting ready to just fucking spear tackle this guy. And then the security guard came in and like tapped him on the shoulder, and he just goes, "Fuck off, dickhead!" And like just grabbed him by the shirt. And the guy's like, "Well, you can't talk to me like that, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "No," he's like, "Fuck off!" And then everyone in the bars go just chanting, "Fuck off, fuck off!" I'm like, oh, thank God someone else did this because I was not gonna have this guy's back. And I've been there where this guy starts fights. Like he starts fights, and then he's only a scrawny bloke. So he'd start fights, and then instantly he just somehow vanishes, and it becomes someone else's problem. And it was definitely going to become my problem if he started it. So I was like, but again, I can't say no to this guy because he doesn't take no for an answer. But
I know some people like that.
But I gotta admit, like, I fucking learnt some shit about Melbourne and stuff by hanging out with that guy. So mad props to him. And you know, we might talk about it another day, but he certainly went through. Like I've known him for 10, 15 years, and we went through some shit, like some dark shit as well as the good shit, but we like to think about the good shit because they were good and the other shit was bad. So yeah, but it's good. It's one of those things where I say to Shelby, who just moved into the city with me, is we'll go on seedy adventures where you can...
So if I go to pick a fight, you'll have my back, yeah?
Fucking no one's going to pick a fight with you.
Oh, you sure?
They're only the dumb ones, surely.
I don't know if you're trying to say, like, you know, nobody would pick a fight with you because you seem nice, or nobody would pick a fight with me because
they won't
terrifying.
Win. Yeah, the second one. You would absolutely destroy them with words before they even started a fight.
You'll confuse them so much they'll just hurt their feelings.
That's the effect I have.
That, or should just hit them with the old dick twist.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. It's again though. This is the thing. Like the shit that we used to get into, that was a long time ago, and like things were getting very politically correct, and then we got COVID. So it's like I don't know if we're ever going to get to the point where we'll have weird situations that honestly are very unhygienic.
the world has changed, I think. Forever.
Yeah. It's and I don't know what we'll talk. Was it on the podcast? We're talking about bands or something. I don't know. But we're talking about. I went to a band. So there's an old boxing ring here in Melbourne that turned into a concert place, and so basically you picture there's like a center floor where the ring would normally be, but they've sort of removed that, and then there's just a stage at one end, and you got seats either side, and then at the back you got a VIP section. I was in the VIP section, which is like on a balcony. But I remember we went and saw the presets, which is like an electronic kind of rave kind of music that they play. And it was a rave, basically. And I remember I was having drinks and, you know, vibing and whatever else. And there was this massive pool of people that were just inside of each other, basically. Just raving. And I'll never forget it because I just think about fucking if that would be the super spreader event of the century if that was happening today. Which it does happen some places still because someone got fined for doing that not that long ago. But anyway, I'll just never forget that because we were with a heap of friends. A lot of them I don't even fucking know, but we just sort of teamed up and went along to this thing. And there was like chicks getting their tops off and like there was a lot of nudity going on in this rave. But also there was like a 6-year-old boy on some girl's shoulders in the middle of the rave just seeing so many boobs, and it's like, where the fuck did this kid come from?
We did discuss this from the podcast before.
But it's like, I always like every time I think about it now, it's like that's not coming back. COVID's done. There's like that. We're never going to get to that point where people feel like they can not only get in a mosh pit but get naked in a mosh pit. It's like it's not going to happen.
I saw some things about people are saying how, you know, our parents, grandparents, whatever, they grew up from the Great Depression and like really bad economic periods, and oftentimes we'll be hiding money and hiding food. Our generation, you know, once we get like older, especially in countries that were really badly affected, are gonna just be obsessed with like cleaning and keeping things clean and not going to big events and things like that because it's like generational trauma, which will be interesting. Yeah,
but it might also save a generation from like disease and stuff like that. Like I feel like. Just purely from, let's not use all of Australia as an example at the moment. Fuck you, Sydney. But certainly from a Melbourne perspective, where we went down into lockdown for like 8 months because we had, you know, it got out of control and had to get it back into control. We learnt so much about all this stuff. But now, like I feel like the flu and like getting the cold and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of that shit's just going to be a much more rarity because we know now disinfect here, wash that, then wear mask where you can, like all these good behaviors and good habits. I feel like that's all fine. What I don't like about this is we're probably going to get to the point where where again, people are going to be scared to go and jump into a mosh pit, because they're going to be like, what if someone's got fucking a disease there? I'm going to catch it. It's going to be almost like a trauma that people are going to have to live with the fact that large groups of people and being close to people is a danger. And particularly if you're like a kid. Like if you're a kid and you just spent the last year and a half being told, stay away from people, they could give you diseases. It's
I
like,
fucking hate COVID.
it's just,
Like
it's fucked.
the COVID babies who grew up in COVID or were born in COVID and just have never met other people before.
Yeah, and again, keep it like I don't want to go on a tangent here, but like I was sitting in a meeting yesterday where they said that like this is an important meeting. We want everyone to make the effort to be there in person because we're out of lockdown and stuff at the moment. Everything's under control. Touch wood. But there was some people that were far away and they still had to do like a Zoom call sort of thing to do it. And one of the older guys, so say no generation up from me, so not super old, but just the next generation. He's just like, oh, I would have thought once COVID goes, we'll be done with all this technology shit. And I'm like, it's not gonna happen, dude. This is here to stay. You should be learning this shit because, being able to video call, share screens, remote dial in, all that shit that we do now day to day because of COVID, it's like, it's always been an option. We only just done it because of COVID, but there's also a lot of benefits to, accessibility and stuff like that, where you could, if someone's like, in a wheelchair or whatever else, they now have a lot more opportunities to be involved in a lot more things because you don't have to be there in person. Everything's digital, whatever else. But just the way, like the tone, this guy's like, I would have thought this shit's gone. This is only here because of COVID. And then I thought to myself, I stream on the internet, we video call people, we fucking talk to each other, we do a podcast that is like, it's like we edit it and we upload it to the internet. It goes out like the amount of contact to the world that we've created through a digital footprint for our generation, just from understanding technology and programs and computers, blah, 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 blah. And then you've got this guy going, it's a fad, it'll disappear. Like, nah, man, I don't think so. It's like, I think it's probably better to embrace the shit rather than go, I can't wait to go back to shaking each other's hands after, fucking whatever, touching your junk and scratching your balls or something.
The fuck?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like handshakes shouldn't be a thing. And I've worked in the industry where you shake a man's hand 100 times a day. It's just like, when you think of it from a COVID perspective now, it's like, that's kind of gross.
As someone who doesn't like being touched by people, I'm cool with it. It's good. Thank God.
I like the fist bumps. I'm in favor of fist bumps instead. Like I like it.
See, I was raised in a culture where like you don't typically shake someone's hand. You usually just give them an elbow or you just give them a little dap. Like that's pretty much it. Yeah.
See, that's that. I think that it's Australia. It's a handshake. It's always been a handshake thing. Like you see anyone, you shake their hands. Like I would rock up to a circle of people, shake everyone's hands in the circle. Next person rocks up, he shakes everyone's hands in the circle. Next person, everyone shakes. Like, it'll be fucking 20 minutes of shaking each other's hands before we even could talk to each other, basically. That's like the
not to be that guy, but, at least one of those people at some point, they probably recently jerked off and didn't wash their hands.
Yeah, and then they're shaking your hand, and now I'm going to go eat fucking a burger with that hand.
Yeah, it's like, what?
That's what I mean. It's gross. Like we talk about like all the negatives and stuff like that, but there's some good habits to become up out of fucking disease control. And like I like the fist bump, but again, it's an Australian thing in the sense that like some people will do the fist bump, but they do it in a way that look at us fist bumping because we don't shake hands because of COVID, right? It's like we're just fist bumping is a new way of greeting. It's got nothing to do with anything else. Stop making it a fucking thing, It's like, stop mocking me for wanting to fist bump rather than shake your jerked off hand, all right? Just stop. Anyway, fuck COVID. That's all I can say. We'll still go on adventures, just it won't be the crazy adventures that I've been on already of insanity. But, yeah, I actually think that there's an event coming up at that exact bar where the topless women were at. That we're going to go see, Shelby.
Okay. Hopefully there's topless people there.
I mean, no, keep your top on.
Oh.
All right. you don't know what 6-year-old is watching. That was such a wild fucking night. I
just want to point out, by the way, I ordered alcohol because you people made me want to buy a drink.
What do you mean?
I bought you some craft beers.
Stop. That would have been at least a house deposit that you just paid with alcohol.
It's like 40% off today.
You should order it from America.
It's like almost tax-free today, 40% off, you know?
Almost tax-free today. God damn. Fuck it. Fuck alcohol prices as well. But he tax on everything. Anyway. I'm starting to say this is becoming the odd man podcast now, and I'm just ranting about shit. But that'll explain why Shelby was quiet. She was ordering alcohol.
Oh.
I was letting you get your old man feelings out. So.
Wow. All right, we'll go back to
Shelby,
the old
you're
man
gonna
podcast.
be an old woman soon.
No, I won't.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can't stop that. It happens.
Yeah,
Die leave a beautiful corpse, you know? Let's go.
What the fuck? You're cooked. Anyway, we're at time anyway, so let's do the thing to wrap up the stuff. It's been an interesting episode. We managed to get Frog for half an episode. So that's pretty good. We resurrected him and then let him to go out. He's going to go drink enough alcohol to pickle himself, probably, which is fine.
He's been taking life lessons from Wally.
Yeah, it's basically. Let's start off with Shelby. Do you want to give yourself a plug, Shelby?
You can find me at shellbunny_ on Twitter, or shellbunny on Twitch, or shellbunny94 on TikTok if you want to see TikToks of VTubing and cat.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Norstar.
You know the plug. Norstar TV everywhere. Norstar on Twitch, no underscores, because I'm not a communist nor a weirdo.
Do you want to do frogs as well? It's got underscores though.
What? No, I won't. I refuse.
If you want to find Frog, good luck, because we're looking for him too. And what we're going to do here is, Frog, if you actually listen to this podcast without getting a fine for unregistered driving, let us know. This point here, I'm putting it right here just to test you, to see if you are actually keeping up with the podcast, because we miss you and you want you to come back, but we need to talk about Miracle Whip and stuff. So you need to listen to the podcast so we know what we're talking about. And anyway, you can follow me at ZombiesLvBacon pretty much everywhere, and obviously the ZLB podcast has a Twitter account that you can follow as well. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment.
ZLB.
Or the ZLB Z.
You Americans out there is ZLB. They're just pronouncing it differently.
Oh, it's still the same letter. Anyway,
it is still the same letter. It's just pronounced differently. And I feel like a lot of people are uncultured and they don't realize it, so they think you're speaking gibberish. You'd be surprised.
I do speak gibberish. It's true. But yeah. If you're still listening to this podcast and you've gotten this far, thank you very much. Make sure you tell your friends and leave a comment. If you ask us any questions, hit us up on the socials. We're happy to talk about it. If you want us to remove Shelby from the podcast, just tell us. We will do that for you. Happy to do that.
Please let me go. Vote to kick me out.
Wow. Having said
She's
that,
the imposter.
Episode 20 will be the Shelby podcast with all girls podcast, celebrating a bit of diversity in the group. So keep around for that. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.